Where are we? Looks like we're in the teens somewhere. Well, when we get to 20, tell me. I'm going to throw up. Delvin Cox, buddy. Friend of the show. You guys know him. Avatar, Jaws, other
Fuck
films.
those movies.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. Delvin Cox, what movie is that from?
I don't know. I just went blank.
Okay. I'm very surprised. I thought this was easy. Marcela, my dear, Marcela I'm sure I get to pronounce your name right. Marcela Alonso, excuse me.
Correct. You said it right. Don't
Okay.
worry.
At Marcella_love on Twitter. Marcella, welcome to the show. Can you tell me what quote that is from? I'll repeat it for you just so it's fresh.
Okay.
Where are we? Somewhere. Where are we? Looks like we're in the teens somewhere. Well, when we get to 20, tell me. I'm going to throw up.
Back to the Future?
No, the answer is Ghostbusters.
Oh.
I don't remember that. Oh, I remember now. On the stairs, yes.
I want to get something a little bit off the beaten path. Kevin Gootee, guest host Delvin Cox, and Marcela Alonso, as I said, is here. We're all here. Thanks for coming on. Make sure you follow us at GTSC Podcast on Twitter, Gutting the Sacred Cow, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, where no, I don't floss. My teeth, but not otherwise, not the dance. Marcella has chosen a film that is near and dear to all kids from the 80s to their hearts, and that is 1984's Gremlins. A budget of $11 million at the time, a box office haul of $212.9 million. Turn that into 2022 money. I did because, facts, yo. A budget of $29.9 million, a box office haul of $577.3 million. Delvin, that's a lot of money. That's almost, I don't know, Captain Marvel money?
Yeah, that's that fuck you money. Like, hey, I appreciate it.
We're getting there. IMDb, folks, as we know, is a scale 1 through 10 with decimal points. Marcella, my dear, what do you think Gremlins scored on the IMDb? 1 through 10 with decimal points.
It'd have to be like an 8 or 9, pretty high.
Give me a number. Give me one number.
8.
8 flat. Delvin Cox, what do you have?
I'm going to go 6.9.
I'm going to say Delvin's closer at 7.3.
Oh.
Rotten Tomatoes, as we all know, is a scale 1 through 100 with obviously percentages. Delvin Cox, what did the critics give Gremlins?
84.
Marcella?
73.
86.
Oh, he's closer.
He is indeed. Now, Marcella, back to you. What do you think the audience gave this score, 1 through 100?
84.
Delvin Cox?
I'm going to go 73.
78.
Not bad. That's in the middle.
You guys are just farting around there. It's like you guys are in second base trying to get their way to third base, and we're working there.
That's my life story.
Oh,
yeah. Me too.
Always a bridesmaid, never the bride, Delvin. Is that what you're trying to say with the ladies? That's how we're rolling.
Well, I was once a bride, then she left. That ended that.
Oh, you got fired then?
Got fired. I didn't get fired. I quit. Walked out.
Wow. So that's what happens when you walk in and she. Never mind. That's gross. I'm not gonna be disrespectful to you. You're a good man. Quotes. Maybe I'll put him in my spin dryer in high heat. Yep, that'll do it all right.
That's great.
Guys, that's some Oscar caliber dialogue we're dealing with in the first 15 minutes of this film.
Yes.
Next quote. When everyone is opening up presents on Christmas, other people are opening their wrists. Or Phoebe Cates, maybe, just maybe, they go to the movies and get Chinese food. And the other one that jumped out to me, I don't celebrate Christmas. What are you, Hindu? Okay. You could have just said Jewish, but that, I guess didn't fly, so they said Hindu instead. All right. Yep. Those are the 3 quotes that jumped out at me. Marcella.
That's where they drew the line at. We can't go that far.
Yeah, I know. Like Hindu? Like that's okay. Marcella, what quotes jumped out at you from this film? Anything at all?
The only thing that really stuck out to me when the dog was overhearing it and how obedient. Remember when he was in the bank and he was like obedient? He heard that lady come through.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally forgot the quotes. I just was observing the whole movie. But yeah, that part when the dog was. Remember when he was in the bank?
Yes.
I do. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Delvin Cox, what do you have for quotes?
I have 3 quotes.
Great.
2 because I remember them, and 1 because when I heard it, I laughed so hard because it was so awkward. I couldn't believe that it was actually said. All right. The first one is, well, if it isn't Captain Clip-On, said by the legendary Judge Reinhold. That was a great one.
Right.
Then the second one in the last part of the movie, Gizmo, bye, Billy, which was so weird.
Oh, wow.
And
Excellent.
the third one, this one made me laugh. This was the one I was just like, this is weird. Okay, in the movie, Asian guy comes to pick up Gizmo and stuff like that. And then he sees Gizmo watching TV and he says, you teach him to watch television? And he says, "Ay-ya." I'm like, what? Is he allowed to say that? That's kind of like a metaphysical. The Asian man just says "ay-ya" out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, okay.
5 fun facts. Gremlins is partly responsible for the creation for the PG-13 rating because Spielberg really responsible for it because Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which obviously Spielberg did, and Gremlins, which he executive produced, were PG upon their release and subsequently criticized for not being kid appropriate. To avoid being slapped with an R rating in the future, Spielberg suggested the MPAA add a rating between PG and R. Can you folks, either of you, name the first film that was PG-13?
Red Dawn.
There it is. You listen to this podcast quite often because we've said that before.
Yes, I do remember that.
Number 2, Gremlins was a lot darker in the script because early scenes have the Gremlins eating Billy's dog, then decapitating his mom and throwing her head down the stairs. They cut that to make the film more family friendly. Number 3. The Gremlins were inspired by mice that inhabited Chris Columbus's apartment. He said he attended film school at NYU, but at night it would sound like a platoon of mice that would come and hear the skittering around the blackness. That was really creepy. Apparently that fact wasn't that fun for either of you. No.
No.
I'm confused. Like, damn, what hood did he grow up in when he's hearing these rats like this?
Would you like to take a guess who was really considered to direct Gremlins initially, and Spielberg considered him to direct it, but he decided to direct another film? I'll give you a hint. This would have been, I think, his first film, and also no stranger to shooting dark movies. Delvin, that's not a racial thing. That's saying.
I was gonna say, who, Spike Lee?
Yeah. Yeah, he was too busy doing She's All That. Not She's All That. Was that right?
Do the right thing?
Not to do that. What was the first one he did with? Not was it She's All That? Not She's All That.
I think it was She's All That. She's gotta have it.
You gotta have it. That's it. That was the first one. Okay. Who do you think was approached to direct this film first, but said no thanks and decided to direct something else a year later? A dark director, not known at this time, but obviously an A-list director now. Give me a guess.
Oh my God. This is something I didn't even know.
Well, that's why it's a fun fact, Marcela.
Trying to think who was around at that time.
You got to remember, he didn't do a film yet. He did films that are
that's
dark.
even harder.
Yeah, that's making it hard.
That's why I gave that a good hint. All right.
Gosh.
Throw a director's name out there so we can move this process along.
Christopher Nolan.
No, I wish. Delvin Cox?
James Cameron.
I wish too. Tim Burton.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
He wanted to, and he said, nope, I got to do Pee-wee's Big Adventure, so he passed. So that was that. Did you guys know that, fun fact number 5, Michael Winslow helped voice the Gremlins. Who's Michael Winslow? Well, that's Lieutenant Jones from the Police Academy movies who does all the sound effects.
Yes. I love the Police Academy movies. Cartoon show, not so much.
But
No, that was
wasn't
terrible.
Gizmo Howie Mandel?
He was. You're
Yeah.
right. But the Gremlins were voiced by also him and Frank Welker, whom all of us 80s boys know is the voice of Megatron in Transformers. Because Frank Welker did Stripe and recommended Howie Mandel get the job for Gizmo.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Frank Welker's a legend.
He sure is. Let's go to our fans who want Marcella to answer some questions in Ask a Gutter. At Bjorn the Viking, Ken Bjorn Turner, our buddy. Okay, I love Gremlins, one of my favorites, but there is one thing that stuck out for me. The Mogwai were Asian in nature, as in from that legend lore. Their midnight would actually be noon time. Or do the Mogwai's internal clocks reset to the local time zone? How long does that take to last to reset for the local time? Your thoughts?
This is like a goddamn math question.
Yeah.
Without even,
it's a
by the way, I
mythical
wrote this down
creature.
too. I wrote this in my notes too. How do they know when's midnight?
I have an answer, but I'll
Go ahead, Marcella. I asked Marcella first. So,
I think it's maybe they know when so many lights are. You know how the sun's out for so long when they go
Right.
somewhere, and then it's night for so long, like 4 hours before it hits midnight. It's night.
Okay.
They could figure that out that way.
Fair. Delvin Cox, what's your theory?
Well, the first thing is it's a goddamn movie. It doesn't matter. but the answer is it's based off of where the location and the Earth rotation and shit like that. Just like think of it like, see, when we hear this question, think of it like how we think of like the Wolf Man, like werewolves and shit. When a full moon comes out, the person turns to a werewolf or some shit.
Yeah.
The same concept. If you're in if the gremlins are in the area where it's after midnight and the moon or wherever it is, where the fuck the moon does at that time is there, that's when they turn.
Okay.
Now, the only question I do have is, how long does that last? Does it last till like 5 a.m.? Does it last till 3 a.m.? Because it's always after midnight, technically.
Very true.
Yeah.
Okay. Good answer. Let's go to our next question from at Kirsty LS22. I am just recovering from the Lion King episode, and now this. Would the original script for Gremlins have worked better? I like Gremlins, but I think the much original, darker version, quote, decapitated mom vibes, would have been much better. So, not really a question, but a statement. But fine. Glad you joined in, Kirsty. Here we go. At Marcella Love, who is your favorite fictional pet from a movie or television series?
I think I answered that comment.
You did.
Alf. I put Alf because
That's a great answer.
yeah, because Alf was during that time, and he sort of was a pet alien. Remember?
Right. Did you know that Dad from Alf got caught sucking dudes off in a warehouse for drugs?
Oh, I didn't know all that.
What?
Can you Google it? Can you imagine you go in there? He goes, "Hey Willie, how about a rim job?" Ha! I was doing that joke when that happened back in 1997, and I'll never hand that one over ever because it's funny.
I'm proud of you. Good job.
Thank you, sir. That, I think, does it for Ask a Gutter. There are a lot of people wanting to know more of the Bond question. So, yeah, that's it. Marcel, you got off pretty light, so not people are very angry
Oh,
at you.
okay, good.
So good on you. So I tell you what, Marcella, let's just have you go out there and get ready to turn let's have you go out there and pull the shades up and have sunlight cook these fuckers. So Delvin Cox, let's have Marcella
Gut.
the sacred
cow.
So I have to say, in the very, very beginning, I can't believe, like, after when I watched it, it was so. I can't believe the amount of money that now that you're telling me that it's made, because it looks so cheaply made. The very first scene, and then even the ending and the very, very beginning, you see they're like in a Chinatown somewhere, and it doesn't even. It looks so staged.
Yes.
Did you see that? Like
very,
Yes.
very, very backlot Hollywood. That
right.
whole Chinatown
And what's
scene.
crazy is I remember being when I lived in LA and I worked on those sets. It was like exactly like walking, so it wasn't really realistic. Where movies today, like it's an actual, it's actually they go on the street to film it instead of the back lot. So this was very, very that first part was very obvious. It was very obvious it was filmed in California because I recognized the spots. The ending, the very ending, I even said that's not even when he walks away, when the Asian man walks away with the Mongoloid. That even looked fake. So those two parts really stuck out to me. Super fake right from the beginning. I was like, this is unrealistic. Like, this is not Chinatown. Like, I don't know if it was supposed to be Chinatown in New York or Chinatown in I don't know which Chinatown.
Seems like there's a Chinatown everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I've been to both. I've been to San Francisco. It's very similar to New York City's Chinatown. But that was just like, it was a joke. Second, what else could I say? Second, that really stuck out to me that I thought was fake. Second, was you're getting this animal and it's like an animal and it looks sort of like a monkey, but it can't have water. Why didn't the father question, hey, why doesn't it need water? You know what I mean? Why didn't he question right there? Like that would have been a red flag right there. Well, what do you mean this monkey looking thing that you can't, why didn't he question it before he brought it home?
Right. A ton. I will not tip my hand. I will just say I have a ton of questions as like, you're absolutely right. Why aren't you asking these important questions? Like, listen, just don't feed him after midnight. Why not? Why can't you get him wet? And what happens at the sunlight? You have to. Why? There aren't any. It's just okay, cool. See you here. Here's $200. See you guys later. Like it's almost like a backroom blowjob negotiation. There.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that.
We'll get there. Go ahead. Go ahead, Marcela. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that part was kind of questionable because the father's like this. They say he's like an inventor, but he's not questioning nothing of the animals. And I go back to thinking when my kids, I remember like telling my daughter, oh, we can't get a hamster. You have to adopt it. Like any excuse not to get a hamster in the house, So as a parent now, I'm like, why didn't he question it a little bit more before he just brought it home? Because the whole part of the water. Second, him bringing the dog to work in the first beta scene where he's bringing the dog to work. That would never fly in a bank too. On top of it, it's not like he's working at a bank and he's bringing a dog, and that part was so unrealistic. And God, what else can I think of that's unrealistic? Where did these little gremlins get that? Remember it was what's that blade thing they would throw?
Oh, circular saw.
Yeah, where were they pulling that thing out of?
Boy, I have a lot of questions about that as well.
Oh,
I
have a lot of questions about a lot of things in this movie.
Yeah.
Right. And then it multiplying just with water, that's questionable too, because the whole process, they just put water on it like a toy and then poof, another one comes.
Like a chip.
There wasn't no process like of it multiplying. So, and how do you know which one's male or female? Because remember, there was the female one that showed very briefly, like one female out of all those gremlins. Like it would be kind of an even match. It seemed like
right.
when the first time he multiplied, he had all boys, and then but that one seemed to be a leader, and how advanced they were for just multiplying. Like there was no like infancy stage. Anything living, there's always a stage in life. So this was just drop water in it, and then it multiplies, and then it has all these skills. It knows how to play a trumpet.
I do agree with that. Within the first 2 minutes, it knows how to play fucking video games, and it knows English. It knows the whole English vocabulary most of most people I know in the hood. Like, what's going on here?
There's no like in a butterfly, if it like there's a little there's a stage before it goes. So why all of a sudden this thing multiplies and it's playing a trumpet, it's fighting, it's what I'm saying? And
they're all child prodigies after coming out of a cocoon.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Fascinating.
It's like if I drop some water on my cat and another cat comes, with another you can't clone. It's like cloning itself just with water. So, and this is before cloning was a thing. And even the cloning process is a whole process. So that was something that I felt like now as an adult, I'm like, how did this even fly back then? Like, this is such a...
I have an answer.
Okay.
We were very stupid back then. We believed anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And how could our parents even take us to such a cheesy movie back then? Like it's
our parents wasn't there. They dropped us off in the theater and kept it moving.
Yeah, like it was such a. Well, I remember I saw it with one of my parents. I don't remember which one, but I remember in the theater seeing it and getting grossed out. This time watching it as an adult, I didn't get grossed out. Another one was once they turned into gremlins, how the hell do they all end up in the bar, start drinking, and why did she even engage in that? remember when they were in the
Oh
bar?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, like why would she even? How the hell did they end up at the local bar?
She's a really good bartender. She
Yeah,
just
like
serves anybody. She just immediately, oh, they're here. They're paying customers. Let me give them their liquor.
right. So those were some things right off the bat. I could tell you, as an adult watching it, I was like, I was. They fooled me when I was young, but I don't think a movie like that would even last. It would probably be a student film, if anything. The level, like, it's so bad, and it was so. Their little town too. It's like they made it all in one lot, like, filming. So I'm like, where did all that money go to back then? Because it really wasn't no special effects or anything back then.
Right.
Yeah.
All true. Well,
Yeah,
It does
no
look like a movie
special
backlot. It does.
well,
It was all-
I have a fun fact for you. Delvin, I'm very surprised. Did you not recognize that backlot from the opening shot?
It looked familiar, but I don't know where it's from.
Oh, you son of a bitch. It's Back to the Future. That's a goddamn courthouse right there.
Oh, that's what that is? Oh, snap. I didn't realize that.
That's
didn't
the
see that?
Warner Brother lot in Burbank. So
Yep.
I've worked on that lot. What's crazy is I've worked on that lot, so I'm like, wait a minute, they filmed this like in a small little section. They really did. If you've ever been there, like, people could tour it. It was like a small little section. Maybe they used one stage.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's the that Christmas tree scene. That's the courthouse in Hill Valley in Back to the Future.
Wow.
And that movie theater too. Again, that's where you see Marty run toward and the car takes off in Back to the Future. That jumped right out at me. One more for you. Same lot. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and Lethal Weapon 2.
Oh, that's pretty
Same house.
interesting.
Same house. Same exact house.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I did not know that.
The Murtaughs and the Griswolds.
That's a lot of stuff happening in that house.
And Desperate Housewives were in those houses too.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I remember. That's probably the latest thing I could think of off my head. Yeah.
What other points do you have, Marcella?
I'm trying to think what's unrealistic. Of course, and I always thought this was a joke where they killed like the only black person, but sure enough, the what was he, the teacher or something?
Science teacher,
Yes.
yeah.
The science teacher, they killed the only black character in all of the film.
But he's the only black guy in the entire town. That's
in the
Yes.
whole entire town, and
That's-
I'm like,
One black person per
I
neighborhood.
heard it was like a joke, and I was like, wait a minute, this is where this. I realized that's where it came from.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I know that very well. Any movie I watched, the black guy, he's going to die.
Yeah, and it was so quickly too. Like,
well, we're gonna do that too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
not a fan of the science teacher dying. Okay, what else? Any other
Yeah.
points you have, or are you out?
I'm trying to think. Hold on. I should have wrote it because I was like, I was so disgusted with myself for watching it, but it was.
You chose this film.
I did show because I haven't watched it, so I wanted to. Now, I that was the fun part. I wanted to like belittle it, and nothing like E.T. Definitely nothing like E.T.
No,
but,
E.T. is a cinematic masterpiece. As one gal came on here a couple years ago to try and cut it to ribbons, she met a similar fate as Delvin Cox, who tried to badmouth Back to the Future.
No, I ain't back about Back to the Future. I
I'm
love
sorry,
Back to the Future.
Jaws. I'm sorry, you
Jaws.
tried to badmouth Jaws. That's right.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of one thing. Oh, the pool part. When it jumps in the pool, that kind of was like, you see him fall and you could tell it's like a toy. It was so obvious they just dumped a toy in the pool. That was like, nowadays you got kids doing TikToks better than this. I've
That is
seen it
true.
on TikTok. Kids are doing better TikToks than this whole movie. Like, literally.
Well, to be fair, there's a little film called Ghostbusters, which had equally as awful special effects, and that was the same year. All, of course, after the original Star Wars films were set the bar, and one for sure, maybe two, depends on when it was released. Indiana Jones films. Temple of Doom was also in '84. I don't know if this was after or before Temple of Doom, but Raiders was definitely before that. You're right. The special effects in this were just awful.
Yeah. I
Especially
just think of that little gremlin going in the pool, like, and it was like, did they just dump that toy in there and film it? Like,
Yes, because they can't find a real gremlin, Marcella. That's why.
But
No,
make it look real. Like
the one scene I threw my pen down and went, "You got to be fucking kidding me!" Do you remember the scene where they come walking up the street? The stop motion special effects are
Yes.
so bad.
Oh
It's like
yes. That was I should have wrote that down. That one, you know what it reminded me of? Little Army Men, that somebody just was sitting there placing them and moving them back and forth. That's what it looked like.
it looked
was
like
so bad.
it made the California Raisins look like the Avengers films.
That was bad. That was bad. Yeah, because I saw that. I said, "What the hell did it's like somebody just did it and pressed it over and over again and kept on taking pictures of it moving."
Right. Yeah, it's stop motion. That's exactly what it is. Stop motion photography. That's they put a pose in, they take a picture, they do
Yeah,
another pose,
that's
like another step forward into a picture, and just play that in rapid sequence, and that's exactly what that is. And that's archaic. But then again, 84 I understand, but it was egregiously terrible. So
Yes.
any other points you have? You want to get out there? You have as much time as you want to defecate on this puppy,
I'm trying to think. Hold on.
which costs another client another $300 in the strip clubs, I assume. Correct? The Cleveland Steamer, they say the kids call it.
Yeah. Trying to think of what else I saw. Oh, when she used the flash, when she was trying to leave the bar,
Mm-hmm.
and she had the Polaroid, and she's flashing the pictures, and they went like that. That was the part that I was like, oh my gosh, it would have been something better if they would have been like, if you get light, then it melts, or like a light, like if you flash a candle towards it or light something, then that would have been cool and would have seen it melt instead of just go.
See, I actually like that. I actually liked how she just stumbled upon it by accident, where she just does the Polaroid and goes, "Oh shit, this is the way I can fight them off." Is just by stunning them with a quick flash. I actually thought that was pretty good. I did.
You thought that was?
I liked it. Yeah.
I thought they should have done something better, where like all of a sudden they melt in front of you, or something. You know what I mean? Instead of like, because again, to me, it looked like they just moved the dolls. There's like a puppet master behind going with the gremlin
Right.
behind it. So
I mean, you wanted the whole Covenant of the Ark melting the Nazis scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That works.
I wanted to see something like more Groot. I remember when I was young, I was grossed out by it, but as an adult, I could just take it and not. It didn't bother me at all. I wasn't scared. Like I was like annoyed. I was like, what the hell? Like, so different when you watch stuff as an adult.
Very much so. I like to think my batting average of sniffing out bullshit as a kid, I'm about 75, batting 750 of, either I liked as a kid and it still holds up versus as an adult, or if I said as a kid, that sucked. And as an adult, I'm like, yeah, young Kevin, you were right. This does suck. Like The Neverending Story, like A Christmas Story, like A Princess Bride. Those films suck from day one, and they suck as an adult. Go ahead, come at me, guys. You know I'm right. Any other points, Marcella? I want to make sure you have enough ample time to.
I think I'm good. Yeah,
okay.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Good. Give me a number 1 to 10 of your opinion of the Gremlins.
4.
4. That's some
an
hate.
answer.
That's cool. Delvin
Yeah.
Cox, why don't you jump in this puppy with both feet?
All right, let me pull out my notes. This is going to be interesting.
As long
First
as
and,
it's the only thing that you pull out. Thank you.
first and foremost, getting into this movie. This movie starts off with an old white man following the Asian boy down an alley.
Here we go.
What could possibly go wrong? Also, what was Rand Pelser doing just hanging out in Chinatown? He definitely was either buying blow or trying to get blowed. There's no way he was like, oh, I'm just looking for a gift. Get the
Right.
fuck out of here. It's just, this movie.
He was looking for his own bathroom buddy, Delvin Cox.
Exactly. It's crazy. I will say this. It's crazy to think how much shit this movie came up with in terms of like the bathroom buddy, the juicer, and stuff like that. That was like almost that we just have now. Like, so I thought that was pretty cool just seeing how, I think Back to the Future has the kind of same thing where you see things like, oh, we have that now. It's just kind of cool just seeing those little interesting facts about how things go. One of the things I noticed about this movie when I was watching it that annoyed me, this movie is 2 hours fucking long. It's an hour 45. It's way too fucking long. I didn't realize this When you told me we were gonna watch, I'm like, yeah, Gremlins, this is a great time. We're gonna have fun. Then I looked at the runtime, like, what the fuck? Why is it so long? And this movie could have easily been an hour, 20 minutes at best. Because it's like there's a lot of fluff in it, a lot of things that you just like, this not really need to be here. So also,
I don't think an hour and 40 is that much is a bridge too far. I mean, it's a kids-ish film. It was PG. I mean, hour 40. I mean, Disney films are 80 minutes, 90 minutes. That's not a Disney film. So to have it 100 minutes, it's not that crazy.
And this is the other thing about that. You said it's a kids movie. This movie is a movie that doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be.
Oh yeah,
A big time. Like there are some moments in it where it's shockingly graphic. Like you have the Phoebe story that she tells, I guess Kate's story that she tells about her dad being like dying in the chimney, which is like a horrid story. And then you just have this scene of the Gremlin just fucking dancing to Footloose and shit like that. Like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on with this movie? It's like it doesn't know, and you can tell, like you said earlier, that they want to make a much darker film.
yeah.
And I feel like they should have either went pure comedy or make that darker film. And I think both of them would have had their pros and cons to it. I think the darker film would have left a lot of questions to be asked in terms of like, okay, these Gremlins done did all this horrible shit. And this is one of the notes I big have. Gremlins did all this horrible shit. And the conclusion of the Gremlins doing all this horrible shit is, shit just happened. Nobody's responsible for it. Let's just move on. Like the guy comes in the movie that picks up Gizmo, like, guess you fucked up the town. He just leaves. And that's it. He's like, all right, people have died. Movie theater was blown up. People have died. Nobody's responsible for this shit. Nobody's like, hey, how did this happen? Who was responsible for this? Where did these creatures come from? It's like, a lot of bad shit happened in this town. Let's just chalk it up to karma.
No contamination unit come in like the Men in Black with the neuralizers.
Yeah.
No one with like flamethrowers to just kind of cook everything to make sure there's nothing that could be possibly poisoning or toxic for the town. Nothing.
Yeah, it's not even a thing like people haven't seen the Gremlins. Everybody in town saw this shit happen.
Yeah.
And people lived. They're like, I guess that's a thing that just happened. And nobody asked how this happened, where it came from, nothing. They just let it go. Also, to talk about what you were saying earlier, how does the water thing work? Because as we all know, people, animals, everything needs water to survive. So can the Gremlins drink water do they drink water to live? Can they not drink water? If it falls on them?
I have an answer. I have an answer. They were all drinking beer in the bar. It's a matter of getting it on their skin.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was wondering too.
Yeah, it gets on their skin. That's when it starts bubbling up and they start popping out and shit like that. But they drink it to sustain, as you mentioned, obviously need water. They were drinking beer and no one was having those reactions. So I think it's more of ingesting versus kind of topically applied.
So if they waste the beer on themselves, they're just fucked then.
Right.
Just a wild situation.
This is like asking a pothead to, if they have an idea and you ask them to get really into detail, they'll just take another hit and go, I don't know, man, I'm just spitballing. That's what this film felt like.
It did. Also, Mrs. Deagle was the original Karen. She was just a horrible person.
Yes.
Just the whole scene where she walks up, where she's walking to the bank, and this family comes up to her like, we just found another job and stuff like that. She's like, I guess you know what to ask your Santa for Christmas. It's so awkwardly funny because she walks away and the little girl says, I'm hungry. Like, what the fuck? Like, why is this so sad and miserable? And then she goes to the bank, she charges in, knocks everybody the fuck out the way. That shit would not happen today.
No.
Especially in South Florida. That bitch is getting laid out.
Listen, it didn't happen in the 80s either. It's just it's exasperated for the film's sake. You're right, though.
Yeah.
She's catching an elbow.
Animal abuse, too, on top of that. She would have been...
She's getting a lollipop stuck in each of her eyes.
Yes. Facts. That lady just was awful. She did, like I said, that's kind of the duality in this movie. This movie has these really dark moments, like she's describing it, what she wants to do to the dog, and the guy just agrees, like, that's a good idea. I would have told that guy, fuck off. And it's just a thing where I'm like, I don't know. It's like the movie, I will say this about the movie.
Just this.
Well, this I don't think overall it holds up because it's doing so many things at one time. And this is the movie when I watch it now. Back in the day when I watched it, I looked at all the cast and stuff like that. I'm like, what? As big, we're like, oh, we're certain to see all these people in other movies. This is going to become like a huge thing. That didn't happen.
Right.
And back then, me, older, looking back at this movie now, like, oh, I kind of see why this didn't happen because none of these people can really act. It's like, the acting is mediocre at best. There are scenes where it's like, okay, the whole star of this movie in general is Gizmo. Mm-hmm. And he's even kind of a one-trick pony. I didn't realize how little he really is in the movie. And then you have like these awkward scenes where he's like, okay, let's just make him do something cute. It's like, hey, Gizmo's driving the car now. Or hey, Gizmo said something funny. Like, okay, I understand. This is okay. But it's nothing. The plot is paper thin. The movie is, I feel like it's overly long. It's okay, but it's not something I'll go back to. Also, another thing, Stripe. How the fuck does Stripe know how to shoot a gun? How did they go this big final fight scene? Billy's in the department store. He can't find shit but a bat. Spike is finding guns.
A sporting goods store.
Yes, he finds a 9. He finds a crossbow. He finds saw blades. This motherfucker came ready for war.
Yeah.
Yes,
he's like Schwarzenegger in Commando. Where are you going? Shopping. Like that whole is an arsenal he finds. I get in my notes, but you can go ahead. I'll clean this up.
Yeah, it's just baffling how and the leaps in logic they're expecting you to watch it a half in terms of like, okay, these Gremlins within less than like 2, it's like a day and a half all this shit happens in for another thing. In less than a day and a half, these Gremlins are fucking geniuses who know how to drink beer, have parties, go watch movies, and apparently handle weapons and all kind of things, ready for war.
This is like a cross of House Party and Boys in the Hood.
Also, why did every house or place the Gremlins go into, they would just happen to be dimly lit?
Because they can't find light, they can't be in light. That's what they sought for.
But that's the thing. Every house, nobody had their lights on at all. So the Gremlins, every house they went to, the movie theater didn't have lights to get into. The bar didn't have lights because in the earlier scene in the movie, when they just flicked the switch, give them like bright light. They wasn't even that bright. But everywhere the Gremlins go at now is just fucking dark. Like, and I'm like, how is that? That's not a thing that happens. You can't just go to random.
You know, I hate reboots viciously, but I'd love to see Gremlins, but an all-black cast. That's what I want to see.
Gremlins in the Hood?
Yes.
Much like Leprechaun in the Hood?
A lot of and throwing him in the blender would be hilarious. And the movie theater bit would be funny too, but I think that'd be something that would be interesting to watch.
Them Gremlins would last 30 minutes.
I know. Your people, Delvin, your people would not be tolerating the horse shit that goes on in this town. That is for sure.
First of all, the little animal would have never ended up in some. Get that thing out of my house. Like, that's how it would have.
Also, I noticed that the Gremlins like vary in strength because the mom kicked all the Gremlins' ass by herself.
Oh, son of a bitch! You stole my point. That's a good one. I had that right here.
Like she took him out like fucking Rambo, easily.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't you just send her out in the streets to kill the rest of them? Because she's clearly better than everybody else. Clearly better than the cops, the fucking veteran who died like a bitch. Clearly better.
Yeah. Wait. He comes back in part 2. That's the fun.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Remember that? Because you think they die. They go, well, the Fetterman just ate it. The fucking they show up in New York for the sequel. I go, wait a minute. They got a goddamn tractor run through their living room. And you thought that and by the way, that was the mom in Police Academy 2, 3, and 4 to Tackleberry's wife. Fun fact. I'm like, how are they back? They both got ran over by the tractor. Nope. Doesn't even talk about it in part 2.
Movie magic.
Yeah, pretty much.
And not to touch too much on part 2. Part 2 kind of does what part 1 should have did. It kind of, hey, we're going to make this one type of movie and stick to it. Part 2 is mostly a comedy.
Oh God, yeah. It's all joke. It's all winks and nods to old shows and old characters. Yeah, there's no real moment of danger you feel. And again, I'll get into my shit in a minute, but I agree with you.
Yeah, but overall, this, as a kid, I liked the movie. As an adult, it's kind of meh. I don't think I hate it. One, it doesn't pass a remote test for me. Like if it's on TV, I would not watch it again.
Marcel, the remote test is if you stumble upon it at any juncture of the film, do you drop the remote and go, yep, I know what I'm doing for the next half hour, 45, hour and a half, whatever it is, whatever's left in the film. That's what the remote test is, as patented on this very podcast. Thank you.
Yes. It doesn't pass the remote test. It's fun to watch, I guess. But it's one of those things like I guess you have to be in the mood for it. And maybe when I watched it, I wasn't in the mood for it. But it felt long. It felt bloated. A lot of stuff could have been taken out of there. Judge Reinhold in the movie was cool to see him there. We're like, your character really didn't need to be here.
No, completely unnecessary.
Like a lot of unnecessary characters. Mrs. Deagle, I understand being there because also another thing that irked me about this movie, I just thought about and I remembered. Why the fuck is the father narrating the movie if he was not there for none of it?
Oh, that's a beautiful point. Didn't even think of it. You're 100% right.
He was there for the beginning, left the whole movie, and just happened to find his son at the direct end. And he's like, well, that's our story. No, it's not. It wasn't your story. You wasn't fucking there. You didn't do shit.
100% right. Good catch, buddy. Good catch.
Yeah, it kind of, that part annoyed me. I'm like, okay. It feels like that, maybe that was probably, like he probably was meant to be there for the whole movie in the original script, but something happened and like, nah, we're not going to do this. And they just kind of changed it. It felt out of place that he was narrating the story, and then all of a sudden he just comes back at the end and like, oh, listen, this happened. And then the guy just finds their house and, hey, you stole my Gizmo. Here, give it back. Like, okay, this is weird. How did you find the house?
That's true.
Damn it. I have that too.
How did you find their house? Also, can I have my fucking money back if you're taking this Gizmo back? Give my goddamn money.
No, he threw the money. Remember, he threw the money though.
I didn't catch that either.
I didn't catch that
because I was like, he goes, "Here's your money," and then he took it back. The son got upset, and then you see him like kind of get, not cry, but
the son's upset. The town has about in the 1984 money, about $5 to $10 million worth of damage done, and the son's like, "You're taking it away from me, motherfucker!" They just leveled this town. They're doing this. This is a service. This guy should have a parade in his honor. You dumb dildo.
Exactly. Oh, something my son pointed out to me that I didn't realize he pointed out to me.
Oh, it's a now Gutting the Sacred Cow father and son edition. Did I miss that?
Yes. He was like, and I didn't know until he said, he was like, okay, the dad goes to the place. He's talking to the kid. The kid tells the dad to wait outside. 2 minutes later, the kid comes up with that big ass box with Gizmo in it. Mm-hmm. How did the old man not see the kid grab Gizmo and walk out to give him the box?
He said, "Meet me in the alley later on." When the kid who worked in the store says, "Meet me in the alley later," and I'll do that.
What he'll do? What?
He'll give him the Gizmo.
Yeah. You better clarify that because the
kid
meeting him in the alley, meeting an old man in the alley. I don't know. That's a good thing.
The kid met he goes, "Go meet me in the alley and you'll get him," and that's how he got Gizmo.
But even so, that place wasn't big where that old man would not notice him taking this big ass box out of the store with Gizmo, and he not even asked him about like, hey, where the fuck is Gizmo at?
Right. That all you got, buddy, or you got any more?
Overall, it was a mad movie. It was okay. Like I said, I wouldn't watch it again.
Give me a number.
If I was to give it a number,
you are.
I'm going to give it a 6.
Whew. Okay. Marcel, you said, I'm sorry, 3 or 4 you gave this?
4.
4. It's 4 to 6. Of course, hey, these notes brought to you by Gutting the Sacred Cow. And Delvin, why don't you have a Gutting the Sacred Cow shirt like this right here? You need to get one post-haste. And where do you get that? Guttingthesacredcow.com. Grab a shirt, grab a hoodie, grab a hat, grab a mug, grab a cell phone holder. Yeah, we sell those. All that stuff can be found at guttingthesacredcow.com. And hey, have you left us a 5-star rating or a 2 or 3 sentence review on your podcast platform of choice? Have you? Good. If you have not, please do so right now. 2 or 3 sentences, 5-star review. And I love screenshotting my favorite reviews and putting them on our social media handles, which of course are GTSC Podcast on Twitter and Gutting the Sacred Cow Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Notes. The bathroom buddy sounds like what truckers call rest stop hookers. Did that Chinese shop owner need a glass eye, and why did he not explain why he has a glass eye?
That is a good point.
Oh, yeah.
I was wondering that.
Did the gremlins eat it out of his head? I would have liked to have known that.
Like
Yes.
Gremlins.
If the Mogwai isn't for sale, why do you have him in the shop?
That's a good point.
That's like me telling women I have a 12-inch penis and then not showing them to them. What a tease.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell, the opening scene, the good old courthouse from Hill Valley and Back to the Future, as I said before. Remember the 80s where people were bashing foreign cars and electronics? It looks like Buick and Chrysler paying for the propaganda in this film didn't turn out with Murray Fetterman. I never got bashing the foreign companies. All it did was do one thing, and that's spur on competition and fire up American companies to do better for their products. I never got that bashing of foreign companies. Oh, Sony Walkman must be a piece of shit. No, it's better.
It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, that's what competition is, you idiots. That's what this company was founded on. Free enterprise. Look into it. I'm getting
Damn
angry
right.
about commerce. Why? I don't know anything about it. Hey, do you think the guy who played Billy ran up to Phoebe Cates the first day of shooting and said, "Hey, I've beaten off to you 30 times"?
Yes. Without question.
Because she was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, for those of you who didn't get that.
I did.
I know you did. I'm just explaining for the people in the audience who are like, wait, what's that esoteric joke he's making again? Hey, Billy is the asshole who brings his dog to everywhere, you know, first work, now planes, where else?
Target.
So the old woman shrew at the bank is going to steal a page out of the Wizard of Oz with the "I'll take your little dog too" rhetoric.
Fuck her.
Hey, you think when Judge Reinhold saw Phoebe Cates the first day shooting, said, "Hey, I did jerk off to you in 20 takes"? That's
Great callback.
I pat myself in the back for that joke. I don't give a shit for those of you who are not watching on YouTube. Let me get this straight. Let's do some corporate America math because, folks, I have an MBA in this department. Judge Reinhold says he is a junior VP at the age of 23. He says he's going to have the branch manager's job at 25, and then says he's going to be a millionaire at the age of 30. Doing what? As the bank president in some dumpy ass town? Doesn't work that way, Judge. You don't get to become a millionaire by being a branch manager or even the owner. You need to own franchises. That was not explained. I said that doesn't happen. Billy's mom is Lorraine McFly's mom in Back to the Future. Did you catch that?
I caught that.
That Steven Spielberg must have had a thing for her before Kate Capshaw and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom came rolling around. Remember in the 80s how everyone wanted a Gizmo? And then remember when your family got one and your dog shredded it to pieces faster than George W. Bush shredded Saudi Arabian's flight records after 9/11? One single orange caused that juicer to make a bigger mess than Peter North did after holding it in for 10 days. That was from Marcela. Hey, it was good to see Corey Feldman back when his anal virginity was still intact.
Oh my gosh.
And Coke free.
Well, that's up for discussion. The falling swords by the door in the Peltzer household, that is an easily repeated sight gag in every 80s sitcom if this were to become a sitcom. Nope, there go the swords again. Laugh track.
Yes.
Delvin, you're my age. Holy shit, those mini arcade games, those were awesome. I didn't have one. Some kid brought his mini Pac-Man version, but it was so cool seeing them play Donkey Kong, but then they didn't actually show them playing Donkey Kong. It was a flashing screen. Yes. I was more interested in watching him play that Donkey Kong mini game than anything else.
I have one.
You do? What do you have?
I have Pac-Man.
There you go. The 80s version, the true 80s version?
Yes, I do. I have a whole bunch of mini arcades up in my house.
My brother has Bad Dudes, but that was way after the fact.
That's a good one.
That game
Like,
stinks. I played it now. I loved it as a kid. Now you're like,
I haven't played it in years.
yeah, it's not good. So let me get this straight. These tiny, I don't know, let's call them foot long Gizmo knockoffs, whatever we're going to call them, were strong enough to get the dog strung up in Christmas lights outside hanging. That doesn't happen.
At all.
I understand. Listen, for those who understand that doesn't happen, Rants, that doesn't happen are commonalities that the screenwriters try and put in the script where we're supposed to buy. I can give leeway for so much stuff. I can't buy that these 6 whatever little monsters were able to get the dog to go outside and string them up in Christmas lights. I'm not buying that. Sorry.
Also, why the dog wouldn't bite any of them?
Right. There you go. Or bark or fight back. Let's get more that doesn't happen out because there are too many. Let me get this straight. A high school science teacher who got a 2.8 GPA in college can now run tests, in quotes, using high school lab equipment on some alien motherfucker.
Apparently so.
That doesn't happen. He has high school equipment. He has pipettes. He has a Bunsen burner. He's got an eye wash station. That's all we had in 7th grade science, goddammit.
I have a retort to that.
Please do.
Mr. Wizard.
But he was an actual real science teacher. This guy is a high school science teacher making $38,000 at the time, not having access to high-end equipment to run a few tests.
Mr. Wizard.
You can repeat that all you want to. It doesn't mean it's right.
Wizard.
Okay, next one. Now we witness Billy's drunk neighbor drive his tractor to the bar. Jesus Christ. Steven Spielberg must have assumed everyone was beaked up out of their tits on cocaine in the 80s if they're going to buy. He drives a tractor to the bar.
I have a couple of friends who would do that.
That you need to move. Well, you're in Miami. You need to, okay.
Yeah. That's the sad part.
That doesn't happen on Collins Avenue when I was there before. I understand. We talked about it before. What happens if you're flying with a Mogwai across time zones and they have food in their belly from before, but now you're flying ahead from California to New York and it's 3 hours ahead? Do they turn into gremlins? The brain of a man who just has too many questions doesn't rest, Delvin and Marcella. Now, the Mogwais eat chicken like most of you savages eat corn on the cob. You all look like animals eating corn on the cob. Scrape it off like an adult. I don't need to see you gnawing at it like a horse. Thank you. The Gremlins cocoons look like if you did a pap smear on Khloe Kardashian.
Oh.
I don't know what to respond to that.
Just with the laughter is good enough for me. Why would that design teacher not turn on the lights? Nothing like hunting in the dark at a disadvantage when you clip the cage wires of a cocoon. Like, oh, everything's going to be okay. This guy's not going to get me after I stuck a needle in it. Oh. How in the Rosie O'Donnell fuck did that gremlin pin down the science teacher, get poison into a syringe, and then hold him down while jabbing him in the ass?
Because these gremlins are super geniuses, apparently. 1.5 days.
Yeah, 1.5 days.
Does anyone have laundry chutes in their houses anymore? Or have they all disappeared like Jell-O pudding pops did, unfortunately? As I said before, the stop motion visual effects of the gremlins walking down the street are just flat out horrible. Oh, look at this! The gremlins somehow learned how to use a key, put it into an ignition, and drive a tractor. Is this like this scene in The Matrix where Trinity learned how to fly a helicopter by being it uploaded into her head while being in the induced state of being in the Matrix? More of these. And oh, look at this! They've obviously completed their electrical apprenticeship because one of them learned how to hotwire that old bag's electric chair. By the way, that is one of the funniest deaths you'll ever see in movie history. I tip my cap that old lady getting shot out of the house. Did you also catch who that police deputy is? That's none other than Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Yeah. Man, a whole legend.
Also in Beverly Hills Cop. Did you know that too?
I did.
And now the Gremlins are automotive experts and graduated Jiffy Lube University as they've thank you, Marcella. And they've now learned to cut brake lines on cop cars. Genius! All from being ejected from a cocoon not even 12 to 24 hours later.
Well, apparently Gremlins don't like police.
How nice of the I guess, well, never mind. I'll say that joke. I'll let you make that joke. How nice of the cops to help that guy dressed as Santa who had 5 gremlins hanging on him. Those cops should be fired post haste. Watching,
I'm staying quiet.
you can say that.
I'm not going to say the joke.
You're my diversity friend. You have carte blanche to make those jokes. Watching these gremlins master trades in under 70 minutes can only be one excuse, and one excuse only. Ready? They're all products of Skynet, and they all become self-aware. Because how else have all these guys learn how to do shit in this short time frame? There's no explanation on how the hell they've learned to do all these nefarious things. I have a major problem with that.
Yes.
If they all watch TV and they all watch shit like that happen on TV, you got me. I'm in. Fine. But nothing, no setup, no exposition. How it's just they become so smart so fast.
In 2 days' time of living.
Right. Exactly right, Marcella.
Yeah.
The flasher gremlin at the bar was funny. I got a kick out of that. And Delvin, you said it best. This film did not know what it was. Is it a horror film? Because this shit got beyond silly. Because any semblance of fear that people have for the Gremlins has now evaporated. It is beyond goofy with all hijinks starting at the bar scene. At first, you're like, oh, these guys can fuck you up. They'll stab you. They'll do whatever. They'll cut your brake lines. They'll jump on you. They'll gang tackle you with the Santa guy. But at the bar, they're all a bunch of drunk Irishmen. That's what's going on here. The story of Phoebe Cates' dad dying in the chimney is the most non sequitur, unnecessary piece of exposition in a lot of films I've seen.
Yes.
Do we care that she hates Christmas? No, we do not. And how in the double-ended dildo hell can A grown man fit into a chimney, and then B, also fit a bag of presents into that chimney with them? That doesn't happen.
Well, he didn't fit. That's why he's dead.
You can't even get maybe even a leg or two into a chimney. That's bullshit. You know what they never had on display in sporting goods stores? Pitching machines. But apparently in Gremlins, they do. You know what else they didn't have on display? Circular saw blades or guns or chainsaws. Oh,
Yeah.
as you said, Stripe has learned how to load and shoot guns because last I checked, sporting goods stores, they don't leave guns in cases with ammunition in the goddamn chamber.
Nope.
Oh, we've all seen Christmas Miracle films, right? Miracle on 34th Street, It's a Wonderful Life. But the real Christmas miracle is that Chinese shopkeeper who somehow tracked down Billy's family to take Gizmo back with no forwarding address, paid in cash, and here he is. Oh, I'll just take him back now. By the way, our own former host of the show, Kevin Israel, I posed a question, is this a Christmas film? And his criteria are, does this take place during Christmas? Is it about Christmas? Does it cover one of the Christmas themes, goodwill toward men, etc.? The STST guys, the folks who do our fine movie artwork, says it's literally a Christmas film because it's set at Christmas, the Mogwai is a Christmas gift, and the whole film movie as a whole is about the dangers of commercialism at holidays, and it's an homage to It's a Wonderful Life by swapping Suicide Plot for Gremlins and echoing Bedford Falls with Kingston Falls. Do you folks find that this is a Christmas film? Yes or no?
No, I don't. I just feel like Christmas happens to be the theme, but it's not really. They don't show you Christmas Day. The father gets back and he just gives him a gift, but it wasn't like it was under the tree.
I like your assessment. Delvin, how about you?
It's a Christmas film as much as movies like Santa's Sleigh is a Christmas film. Horror, garbage filled horror movies like that. Yeah.
Yeah, my answer is I don't give a shit. I don't care if this is a Christmas film or not. Kevin Israel says no. STSD guys say yes. I don't care. As I said before, I give a film as much latitude as it allows for. But amazingly enough, it sucks out all audience karma with the constant evolution of the Gremlins' capabilities and zero setup. I had such a problem. And it got so goddamn hokey. Yes, I know it's a kid's film. Yes, I saw it as a kid. I don't remember being a big fan or hater of this film. I have zero desire to watch this again. It wasn't funny. It was more aggravating than anything else. Yes, I get it's a dark comedy and a quasi-satire, but name me one funny lines besides the Flash or Gremlin. Did you laugh at this film? If you have, speak now.
Just that one scene I told you about at the end.
Right.
That was because it was so insulting. I was like,
right.
I can't believe it did this.
Marcella, any moments that made you laugh out loud?
No, seeing the bar again. I remember it as a child, but it was kind of funny as an adult watching that part.
This is a bunch of, that's what they're making fun of jokes, but none of these jokes, in quotes, have any stank on them. 5 out of 10 for me. Fails a remote test. I'm never watching this again. We have a 4, we have a 5, we have a 6. So we're all pretty much on top of each other. Let's see what those queefs who love to wear elbow patches and have opinions and use word soup and really be colossal blowhards have to say about this. Critics 5-star reviews. Am I boring you, Marcella?
No. Just late. It's just late for me.
While some of the lines feel a bit dated, overall the movie has aged well, and it has the same fun, over-the-top energy that made it such a big hit in 1984.
You're lying.
With its unique, far-out quality, The Gremlins is best described as the Evil Dead for kids.
You're really lying. You're full of shit.
I think that's funny. I think that's a good comparison. A thrilling anti-Christmas product, effectively mocking other no-nonsense evil alien endeavors to become a staple of the horror comedy subgenre. No. As a black comedy, a satirical look on consumerism, and a movie bursting with Christmas cheer, no matter the descriptor, Joe Dante's Gremlins is a classic.
What you mean by black comedy?
I knew that was going to come out of your mouth. Maybe because they thought it was funny when the black science teacher got killed, Delvin? Is that what it is?
Pretty much, yeah.
Does not reflect my views. Thank you. Critics 1-star reviews. Unlike the fabrication of the Gremlins, the rest of the movie, with its terrible first part, is clumsier. Speaking of clumsier, how is that dad, the inventor, still in business with all these goddamn garbage inventions that no one wants to buy nor work?
Yeah.
I have a theory about that.
Please do.
He's not doing shit. Billy's the one supporting the whole family. His father's fucking useless. Father's fucking useless.
This is all like a Mr. What's that guy who Mr. Walter Mitty? What's that one film? Walter Mitty.
The
Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Yeah,
it's like that, but he's really. I like that hypothesis.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense because I think Judge Reinhold said it in the movie, and his mom, Billy's mom, kind of alluded to it, like, this guy's not worth shit.
Yeah. She's still spreading her legs for him. Shame on her.
Yes.
Spoof horror doesn't horrify, it sickens. Spoof comedy doesn't amuse, it annoys. Spoof comic horror is for the stuffed birds. I don't know what the fuck that means. Do you guys?
No clue. That motherfucker's high.
Yeah, I have above average intelligence, I think, and I'm just sorry, that's above my head. If I missed your metaphor, guy or girl, whatever. There's a mischievous playfulness about Gremlins, and that's its most endearing quality, but I found it grating on the early and soon turning to mean-spiritedness. Gremlins is more interested in showing off its knowledge of movie lore and making random jokes than in providing consistent entertainment. Word soup.
Yeah.
A lot of nothing going on there. A lot of no jizz, just all veiny dick. All right, I guess. I don't know. Who said that? Next. Amazon 5-star reviews. This movie scared the bejeezers out of me as a child, and it still kinda do. Signed, Neil deGrasse Tyson. How could you not like this movie? It's a classic. If you have not seen it, watch it now. Also, if you get a mogwai, do not expose it to light, especially sunlight, which will kill it. Do not let it come in contact with water, and above all, never feed it after midnight. Cool. Helpful hints for something that's never going to happen. Thank you.
Yes. They're not real. This is a goddamn movie. Fiction.
Someone thinks they're going to go buy sunglasses and see zombies like They Live, right? There are more than 3,800 reviews for this film, so this will be short. I watched this with our 9-year-old because she got something called a feisty pet for Christmas. The toy. I'm not familiar with that. Marcella, are you? Do you have the kids that know that one?
No.
No. You laughed. I thought you knew about it. Okay. The toy reminded me of Gremlins and that she had not seen the movie. She says the movie is really good and that the feisty pet designers must have seen the movie.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
I don't either. Despondent and absent father spends his life on the road, unsuccessful at earning a living being a salesman during a recession, who one day decides to make it up to his family by attempting to buy back their ever-dwindling love and respect by bringing home the worst Christmas present ever. This film is psychotic, and I loved every minute of it. 10 out of 10. Signed, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Amazon 1-star reviews. There are stupid parts. Like, where do these little creatures manage to get little outfits to wear? One dress. That's so funny. That's so true. One dresses up in a tiny trench coat and flashes people. One dresses in a hat and sunglasses. And one smokes cigarettes and gets drunk. They were just created, and they already got wardrobes from nowhere. There are weird parts, like when Billy hangs out in his bedroom with a 10-year-old boy, Corey Feldman. The only thing that makes this a Christmas movie was that it takes place at Christmas time, and there are Christmas decorations that get destroyed. I watched this whole movie because I just had to see how it would end.
No, you didn't.
The 10-year-old boy part is funny. Like, why are you hanging out with Corey Feldman?
I didn't even realize that. Yeah, that's a good point. Billy's like 20-something years old. What the fuck you had on a 10-year-old for?
Yeah, man. Drop off the Christmas tree, give the kid a 20, and move on.
Yes. Chris Hansen should have been there.
So, what are you doing here? I guess that means I'm not going to get my pizza, huh? If you didn't love Catch a Predator, I don't have much to talk to you about.
Fantastic show.
By lax 1980s MPAA standards, this abysmal PG icon of the coked-up 80s, I told you, comes jam-packed with inept protagonists, racial stereotypes. Really?
I think it's talking about the whole Asian thing.
I don't know about that.
In the beginning, they did it was Asian stereotypes in the beginning. Yeah.
I don't know. I missed that. I missed it.
It was a couple of little things.
Okay. All right.
It wasn't overbearing, though.
All right. Yeah.
For an 80s movie, it wasn't overbearing.
I like how you give qualifiers. I missed it. Doesn't mean it didn't happen, so I'll defer to you too. Racial stereotypes, elder abuse. That old lady deserved it. Lewd foreign monsters representing xenophobia and animal cruelty thinly veiled as humor. I guess that's the stringing the dog up with the lights.
Right.
Okay.
And then the woman making that comment, that would have been, if somebody would make a comment like that today, that's a serious charge.
Yeah, but everyone still loves Wizard of Oz, so eat shit.
Yeah.
I grew up with nightmares inspired by this movie, and I honestly don't see how this was passable as a kid's movie. Thanks for nothing, Spielberg. If they didn't like that, wait till they see kids being, slave miners for stones in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. While my kids felt a little giddy reprieve during the bar scene, what? I saw a woman struggling to appease a horde of disgusting creatures, blatantly acting out some of the most despicable of human activities. If you want to peek into what second wave feminism was so pissed off about, maybe you can include this movie in your research. Signed Andrew Dice Clay.
So it's a regular bar, essentially.
That's what I was gonna say. She must have been a bartender in a place and says, "Ugh, these people are trash." Hey, Delvin Cox, did Marcela Alonso gut the sacred cow?
I kind of have to say, yeah. If you kind of look at the scores and kind of 4, 5, 6 CeeLo, yeah, fuck it.
4, 5, 6 CeeLo. Oh, listen, we have a lot of white listeners. Please explain what 4, 5, 6 CeeLo is.
Go play some dice.
That's it. Hot hand in the dice game, baby doll. 6 hours straight of clickety clack. That's a Dave Chappelle joke. I say, you know what? I'm gonna do better. I think this is a nice group triangular gutting. All three of us dug in firmly. So well done, Marcella. I'm glad you came aboard here and got us to watch this film again.
I'm mad now. I was gonna write down notes, but then I was like, oh no, I'm gonna look stupid if I'm writing notes. I should have done that.
Well, Marcella, I had 7 pages of notes today, so I feel like a dumbass all around.
I had like a page and a half.
Yeah, it shows. I'm just kidding.
Wow, I could have
I'm
done that.
kidding. I'm kidding. Marcella, tell the fine folks what you're up to and where we can find you.
They can find me on my IG, Marcela Sobella, and I have a YouTube now, Marcela Alonso's YouTube on YouTube. And I have a Facebook, Marcela Sobella, and a TikTok, Marcela Sobella. So all three under the same name.
She does a fantastic show on Instagram that was very graciously asked to be a part of last week.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. I had a
that's
blast
cool.
with you, and I immediately asked her to do the
I'm
podcast.
bringing it now to, I'm going to do in studio and bring it now onto YouTube. So,
Oh, cool. That's
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
cool.
Congratulations. I had so much fun doing it. So I said immediately I need to have her on my podcast. Delvin Cox, my buddy, my longtime compatriot, my friend of now 3 years. Shit,
Yeah.
podcast has been for 3 years.
Yeah.
Talk to me, brother. What are you up to? What are you working on?
I guess you can check out the Delvin Cox Experience. I guess in this month we're gonna have a Halloween special,
Oh,
and coming up soon, I want to say, I'm in an audio drama called Justice League Mortal, where I play Green Lantern John Stewart.
I was going to say, I hope you don't say Superman because that'd be kind of interesting clashing qualities. Or Wonder Woman, I should say, too. I don't know what goes on in this day and age, but
Yes.
I could see the John Stewart play. That's
Yes.
cool.
Yes, pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Thank
Awesome. KevinGootee.com for comedy dates, guttingthesacredcow.com for other merch and things like that, GTSC podcast. And again, please leave a 5-star rating, 2 or 3 sentence review on your podcast platform of choice. And please continue to tell your friends and family about how awesome this podcast is. I love having my guest co-host on. I love having my guests come on and picking films that they have the balls to come on and say, you know what? This film that we all love or made a lot of money or is critically acclaimed, guess what? This thing stinks. Having the balls to do that. So thank you, Marcella, for coming on, and I appreciate you. Delvin Cox, pal, you know where I ride, brother. On your left, as we say.
Facts.
Folks, we'll see you next week. Take care.